We now bring you live, exclusive coverage of the historic relocation of the Liberty Bell from Independence Hall to a site on the mall. Here's KYW's Bill Bransom.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Bransom from the spanking new Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia. This is indeed the 11th hour as we get ready to say goodbye to 1975 and greet the year of the nation's 200th birthday, 1976. Now, let me take just a moment to describe to you the Liberty Bell Pavilion, soon to be receiving the historic bell. The pavilion is located just 100 yards due north of Independence Hall. It's a striking structure of steel and glass, white granite, with floors of solid oak built for $1 million by the National Park Service. The principal architect, Romaldo Gudgola, says the design of the pavilion is intended to give the feeling of openness and direct one's eye from the pavilion along a rising line to the tower of Independence Hall. The roof of the building gradually rises from 15 feet at the north end along Market Street to 20 feet directly over the bell facing Chestnut Street. The overall height of the building was kept as low as possible so as not to obstruct the view of the hall from the mall. The walls of the pavilion are faced with 7-foot-high white granite and laminated tempered glass. The bell will be suspended from its original yoke, which will rest on 2 stainless steel columns. Park Service officials say the building has been designed to accommodate 1,100 visitors an hour. The moving of the Liberty Bell is the first major event for the bicentennial year in Philadelphia, and for this venerable relic, it will mean the first major move since 1917. In 1917, it traveled through the streets of Philadelphia as part of a Liberty Bond drive. The last time it was out of the State House, as Independence Hall was called many years ago, was in 1919 when the bell was brought out on the quadrangle to signal the return of the 28th Division, the Keystone Division, from World War I. It would be nice to say that the weather has not dampened the spirits of anyone here. I think it has cut down on the crowd, and there are some changes in the programming for this evening. And let's go to Richard Maloney. Richard, tell us about the changes.
Bill, it's not only nice to think that it hasn't dampened the spirits, it has not dampened the spirits. The weather out here is incredibly awful. We have winds 35 to 40 miles an hour blowing across the mall here. There have been some changes in the program here. The fireworks display, which is supposed to, or was supposed to have gone off at midnight when we celebrate the New Year, is very questionable right now. There are 2 types of fireworks, one called standards, the other one's aerials. The standards are set displays. One was supposed to have read Proclaim Liberty, and another was the outline of the Liberty Bell itself. Those are out. I talked to the fireworks company just about 15 minutes ago. They say there's no way they can get those to go. And because of the wind, not necessarily the rain, the aerials, the skyrockets that shoot up into the air are questionable. The Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company is to the south of Independence Hall, and the wind is blowing from the north. So they're saying if we fired these aerials with on top of the windswept building, it's very likely they'd blow to the south and they'd never be seen from where the crowds are gathered. So that's a big question mark right now. The program, the musical program, was supposed to have begun when you began broadcasting at 11 o'clock. As it stands right now, it'll begin at 11:20. We were supposed to have had 3 groups this evening: the U.S. Army Chorus, the All Philadelphia Boys Choir, and Orange Glen High School Band from Escondido, California. The band is here. They're all set to go, but they will not begin until about 11:20. Now, there is a question. Bill, you in the pavilion can see the Army Chorus being set up in there. They may begin the music from there, and the music will be piped outside to large speakers, which have been set up by the city of Philadelphia. Or the band may come out in front of Independence Hall and brave the elements and begin the music here.
Yes, Richard, the Army Chorus that's come in from Fort Myer is in 2 groups. Now, this is a smaller group.
That's right.
It won't be the large group that had planned to sing outside, but this is the group inside that will take over at approximately 11:20, I think. Now, I'm not sure just when the Orange Glen High School Band. I would like to take a moment to welcome station KOWN in Escondido, California, and tell you that we are having Philadelphia weather here and not Escondido weather. You will be certainly hearing the Orange Glen High School Band soon. Thank you, Richard Maloney. We'll be getting back to you. Let's go to Joe Donovan now. Joe, where are you? And tell us who's around you.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you this. We're down on Chestnut Street right alongside the spectator section, and there are seats available. Surprisingly, even though the city of Philadelphia sold out all seats within the first half hour after tickets were offered, a good number of those who are holding tickets have not shown up tonight, and it's doubtful that they will. However, there are a good number of people who did not buy tickets, people who were to be a part of what was anticipated to be a real throng here on Independence Mall. And what we've got, as I look around, is several hundred people at this point. And, of course, those who come out have really got some fairly brave spirits. I've been talking with Peggy Force from Havertown, her daughter Renee, and friend Steve Alco, and they're standing here in the rain getting soaking wet. And would you rather be someplace else, Peggy Force?
No, not really. This is where I wanted to be tonight.
Well, you know, when it started raining, what did you think about that? Did you have second thoughts about coming?
No, we decided we'd put on our rain gear and come.
How's it feel to be soaking wet?
Well, it's a little chilly.
It is a little chilly, but tonight there's going to be some history recorded here, and I don't know, is that why you're here?
Yes, that's why I came.
Have you been in to see the Liberty Bell before over at Independence Mall just across the street?
Many, many times.
Does this move mean anything to you? A good many people have resisted and kind of been resentful that the Bell is leaving its home at the hall to come over here on the mall.
I was a bit unhappy that it's being moved, yes.
Good. Renee, what about you? Now, this is New Year's Eve, and I would think you would probably be at a party.
Not too many parties around this year. My mother kind of dragged me along, kind of persuaded me. But besides that, it's a historic experience. I enjoy it.
Kind of dragged you along. That sounds like she may have some talking to do when you get home, huh?
Well, not really. She first started out with, oh, come on down. But I'm fine now. I like it.
I wonder how you're going to like it when you find out that they pushed the program back a half hour. Does that make a difference to you? You think you're going to hang in with this?
Sure I will. I started out coming down. I'll stay. I want to see it.
How about that, Bill? Some very stout souls here on Independence Mall tonight. We're just across, of course, from Independence Hall, and I should point out that even though earlier police had diverted traffic from this general area, they've now started to allow traffic on 5th Street and Market Street, 6th Street also surrounding the area. They have not had the crowds that have been anticipated earlier. So in a,
All right,
in
Joe
a word,
Donovan, we'll be back to you shortly. Things are starting to tool up here at the Liberty Bell Pavilion. And we'll be back in a moment from Independence Mall. This is Bill Branson.
This is KYW Philadelphia, the news center on your radio dial. KYW News Time, 11:08.
You deserve to know what's best. And who knows better than all the rest? The people at PNB, Philadelphia National Bank. Part of your community, PNB. The building and the history, PNB. The people at PNB, Philadelphia National Bank.
In 1803, our brand new bank opened its doors to Philadelphia, and they've never closed. We've learned a lot since then about banking and the people who live here in the Delaware Valley area. We know we can help you, and that's a good thing to know.
No one knows better how to serve. No one can give you what you deserve, like the people at PNB. Philadelphia National Bank. Philadelphia National Bank.
KYW News Time, 11:09. AccuWeather says rain becoming heavy at times overnight, diminishing to drizzle by dawn, and a low about 36. Weather improving during the day with brighter skies and a high around 42. At Independence Mall, the temperature is 37 degrees. It's also 37 at the airport. These are the top stories in the news at this moment. The midnight moving of the nation's Liberty Bell, which is being brought to you live by KYW News Radio through the personal observations of KYW's Bill Branson and other reporters at Independence Mall. Employment in the 8-county Philadelphia, South Jersey area's labor market has increased by 5,600 during the month of November. And Mamie Eisenhower is undergoing medical tests at Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington. A hospital spokesman says she's doing okay and had not suffered a stroke. In sports, at the Peach Bowl, West Virginia beat North Carolina State 13-10, and in the Sugar Bowl, Alabama beat Penn State 13-6. Employment in the 8-county Philadelphia, South Jersey labor market area increased by 5,600 during November. This increase, according to a report by the Pennsylvania State Employment Service, brings the level of employed to 1,877,000. However, John Doherty, PSES district manager, said the total on payrolls in the area was 37,800 lower than during November of 1974. The Federal Power Commission has ordered an immediate nationwide boost in natural gas prices. Here is KYW's Bill Branson.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, from the Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia, we continue our coverage of the moving of the Liberty Bell from Independence Hall to the Liberty Bell Pavilion. Now, there have been some changes in the programming tonight. I understand now that the U.S. Army Band is playing out on the quadrangle. Now, let's go out to Richard Maloney, and Richard, set the scene for us there now.
Set the scene. Scene is extremely wet here, Bill, but the spirit hasn't been dampened at all. We've got, I would estimate, and this is a pure guesstimate, probably 3, 4, maybe 5,000 people here on the mall so far. They're cheering and yelling, having a great time despite this absolutely awful weather. We've just heard the first number from the Orange Glen High School Band from Escondido, California. This band raised $30,000 in 1 week to fly from the West Coast to Philadelphia to participate in this event. You can hear the music in the background. The schedule has been shortened just a little bit because of the weather. We've got driving winds and rain. We were saying a little bit earlier that part of the fireworks, if not all of the fireworks, have been scrapped because of the weather, but it certainly isn't going to disrupt the program at all. We have 3,000 seats in front of Independence Hall, sold out. A lot of the seats are empty. A lot of the people simply bought the tickets but have not come. As I'm standing on a platform, perhaps 15 feet above the crowd with other reporters here from around the world, I see every color in the rainbow of umbrella. People huddle. We've got hundreds of Philadelphia policemen out here in their yellow slickers, keeping the crowds back. It's been a very orderly crowd so far. We're going to hear from the band for probably 15 or 20 minutes, and then we will hear from the U.S. Army Chorus, which is in the pavilion. They, with you, Bill, they were to have been outside in front of Independence Hall with the band, but they prefer to sing inside where the wind and the rain won't disrupt their program, and it's a little warmer in there, too. Interesting sight looking out over the mall here. On a bank nearby is American flag flying spot under a bright spotlight. People here tonight have been a very, very sober crew. You can hear the cheers in the background for the band. You generally don't hear that for a band. The people who are out here tonight are out here for the fun and, of course, the momentous occasion of the moving of the Liberty Bell. Liberty Bell has been in Independence Hall, which, of course, was once called the State House, the Province House of Pennsylvania before 1776. It's been in that hall since 1752 when it was brought here from England. And it's made many trips around the country. It's been out of the hall 9 times, particularly at the end of the 19th century when it went to a number of expositions, went all the way to San Francisco for an exhibition in 1915.
You know, that's something that has come to light lately. I guess a lot of people didn't realize, Richard, that the bell has been here since 1752. You know, it is so connected with Independence Hall and with the Revolution that most people think it was concocted somewhere around the Revolution. It actually came into Pennsylvania on the 50th anniversary of Pennsylvania, did it not?
Yeah, it did. The bell was brought here. It was originally called the Province Bell. And it was brought here for the province of Pennsylvania. It didn't become known as the Liberty Bell until the late 19th century. It's been called several names. Originally the Province Bell, and about 20, 30 years after the Revolution, when we were well into the United States of America, it became known as the Old One, and it carried that name until the late 19th century when a poem was written naming it the Liberty Bell. It's as many things. In the 19th century, you had John Greenleaf Whittier and other very patriotic poets giving names to things that have stuck, and Liberty Bell stuck just at the turn of the century. It really didn't gain its fame until that period. They're saying that it made its numerous trips. Probably the most momentous trip it ever made was in 1777 when the British fleet with 12,000 soldiers fought its way up the Delaware River alongside Philadelphia here and finally captured the city. Well, the Bell was put onto a special cart guarded by 200 soldiers, cavalry soldiers, and taken through the Pennsylvania mountains up to Allentown, where it was hidden in the old Zion Church for a couple of years. And it's had an arduous life. Of course, it's cracked. It's cracked not only once, it's cracked 3 times, and has been recast twice. When they took it to Bethlehem, the cart, one of the wheels on the cart collapsed, and the whole thing went rolling down a hill. So it's had an arduous life.
Yes, it certainly has, Richard. It's been around the country a number of times. I think a little bit later on we'll tell exactly where it's been and just how many times. We'll be back with you in a moment. From Independence Mall, this is Bill Branson.
KYW News Time, 11:25.
Now a page from KYW's Bicentennial Daybook. At 4 o'clock on the morning of December 31st, 1775, the American forces under General Richard Montgomery launched the long-planned attack on Quebec. Montgomery had chosen the lower town for the main assault, figuring to move from there up the steep main road to the main town. The assault on the lower road was planned as a pincer movement, with Benedict Arnold leading one force from the north side and Montgomery himself coming from the southern end. The attack was made in a heavy snowstorm that created blizzard-like conditions. Montgomery's force ran into heavy fire. The gallant general himself was killed, and his troops had to turn back. Arnold's force, commanded by Rifleman Daniel Morgan after Arnold was wounded, battled up the main road, but without Montgomery's troops, it was overwhelmed. The Americans lost 426 men captured, perhaps 60 killed or wounded. The British defenders lost 18 men. This page from American history has been presented by KYW News Radio in cooperation with the National Park Service.
We now return to Bill Branson and our coverage of the moving of the Liberty Bell.
We are back at the Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia, continuing our coverage of the moving of the Liberty Bell. Now, we have with us right in the building here the United States Army Chorus.
Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. But a clubs hath old England the folly and sin, spite of Chatham and Camden, Merriford, Crooks and Glyn. Not content with the game act, they tax fish and sea, and America drenched with hot water and tea. Derry down, 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 Derry down. Then freedom's the word both at home and abroad, so out every scabbard that hides a good sword. Our forefathers gave us this freedom in hand, and will die in defense of the rights of the land. Derry down, 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 Derry down, Derry down, down, Derry down. He has gone afar across the bay. Oh, my heart is sad and weary today. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Why should vain mortals tremble at the sight of death and destruction on the field of battle, where blood and carnage, where blood and carnage clothe the ground in crimson, sounding with death groans? Come join hand in hand, brave Americans all, and rouse your whole hearts at the liberty's call. No tyrannous act shall suppress your just flame, for stay
did play on the apron just in front of Independence Hall. They gave us a rendition of 3 brisk marching selections before they had to give it all up. They stood out there, got soaked like the rest of us, and they have now retreated back into one of the adjoining buildings to the hall here at 6th and Market Streets in Philadelphia. We've also noticed some of the younger children that had been out have started to make their way home. The rain is coming down even really in torrents. The wind has picked up. It is quite raw, quite cold out here. But we've got a lot of people who are not going to be affected by weather. One of them, Mark Schaefer from Northeast Philadelphia, is a law student at Temple. I know, Mark, that a lot of people came down here because they're history buffs. They wanted to be a part of seeing this whole thing happen. Why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I love Philadelphia, and I've been living around Philadelphia for many years, and it means a lot to me, and the bell means a lot to me, although a lot of people laugh at history in America, but it means a lot. And for weeks my friends and I have been talking about being down here, and it's raining, and we've been celebrating and everything, and we just came down to have a good time and watch the bell being moved.
I can tell you're celebrating. I've seen a good number of other people around with champagne in that hip pocket. I haven't seen your champagne. Are you all set for the magic hour?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Are you all set for the magic hour?
I am. I can't wait till it happens. I just want to see it get moved and have a good time with my friends, and it's great. It's one of my best New Year's Eves in a long time. It really is.
How about that, Bill? A lot of people are out just because it's New Year's Eve, because there's not that much else to do in Philadelphia. Here's another gentleman standing here without a hat, or rather without an umbrella, getting soaking wet. What brought you out tonight?
Well, mostly my son. I figured there was plenty to do in Philadelphia, like go to bed. But my son says, we got to go down and do that thing. And so here we are.
What section of Philly are you folks from?
We're over on South Street, 2300 block over South Street.
How about that? Did you walk over, or did you bring your car in?
Oh, brought the car a little ways, and then we walked a little ways. And
thank you for the word from out there, Joe Donovan. We'll be back to you shortly. From Independence Mall, this is Bill Branson.
We now return to our live exclusive coverage of the moving of the Liberty Bell from Independence Mall, and here's Bill Branson.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Branson from the brand new Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia. And this is indeed the 11th hour as we get ready to bid goodbye to 1975 and greet the year of the nation's 200th birthday, 1976. Now, let me take just a moment to describe to you the Liberty Bell Pavilion soon to be receiving the historic bell. And also let me welcome WBZ in Boston, KFWB in Los Angeles, and KOWN in Escondido, California has been with us since 11 o'clock. And that is the town from which the Orange Glen High School Band came our way. The pavilion we're in at the moment is located just 100 yards north of Independence Mall, or Hall. It is on Independence Mall. It's a striking structure of steel and glass, white granite with floors of solid oak, built for $1 million by the National Park Service. And the principal architect, Romaldo Gergola of Mitchell Gergola Associates in Philadelphia, says the design of the pavilion is intended to give the feeling of openness and direct one's eye from the pavilion along a rising line to the tower of Independence Hall. The roof of the building gradually rises from 15 feet at the north end along Market Street to 20 feet, directly over the bell facing Chestnut Street. The overall height of the building was kept as low as possible so as not to obstruct the view of the hall from the mall. The walls of the pavilion are faced with 7-foot-high white granite and laminated tempered glass. The bell will be suspended from its original yoke, which will rest on 2 stainless steel columns, which are just about 6 feet away from me. Park officials say the building has been designed to accommodate 1,100 visitors an hour. We have reached a critical point in the ceremonies here this evening. This is the moment for the candlelight ceremony, where all the lights have been dimmed in the Independence Mall area, and people had been told ahead of time, please bring a candle with you, or a searchlight, or even light a match. It is dark here at Independence Mall. The crowd is a lot less than had been anticipated, but it's an enthusiastic crowd, and they are witnessing a piece of history here in Philadelphia. We will be back to this in a moment. From Independence Mall, this is Bill Branson.
You deserve to know what's best, and who knows better than all the rest? The people at PNB, Philadelphia National Bank. part of your community. PNB, the building and the history. PNB, the people at PNB. Philadelphia National Bank.
In 1803, our brand new bank opened its doors to Philadelphia, and they've never closed. We've learned a lot since then about banking and the people who live here in the Delaware Valley area. We know we can help you, and that's a good thing to know.
No one knows better how to serve. No one can give you what you deserve, like the people at PNB. Philadelphia National Bank. Philadelphia National Bank.
We now return to Bill Bransom and our coverage of the moving of the Liberty Bell, brought to you by the Philadelphia National Bank.
We are just moments before midnight here on Independence Mall. Let's go right to Richard Maloney. He's at the Judge Lewis Quadrangle in front of Independence Hall.
Well, right now, the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry has moved into the front of Independence Mall. I'm standing on a press platform directly across the street from Independence Hall, and even though we have a driving cold, bitterly cold, windy rain out here, hundreds and hundreds of people have lit candles and turned on flashlights. It's a glorious sight all along the entire length of Independence Mall. Hundreds, if not thousands, of candles and flashlights lit with a glow underneath the umbrellas. The infantry old guard are dressed in their colonial uniforms. Earlier they had practiced about 20 minutes ago in their drab olive greens, but they have, the bell has just tolled. Number one, the Centennial Bell, a bell 100 years old, on the tower of Independence Hall, has begun its toll of 13 times. The bell will be echoed by a second bell, a duplicate of the Liberty Bell, which is behind us on the Judge Lewis Quadrangle. You can hear the bell in the background.
We are approaching midnight on Independence Mall. The elevator is moving up with its spotlight shining outward, ascending the tower of the Penn Mutual Building behind Independence Square. The elevator is moving up the building now. It's about 2/3 of the way up. And we are just seconds away from 1976. The elevator moves out of sight, and when it reappears, it will be 1976, the year of the country's 200th birthday.
Bill Bransom?
Yes, Richard.
You can see the spotlight is directed on the tower clock of Independence Hall. We have gone about 9 or 10 rings on the bell. Now, when that elevator reached the top of the Penn Mutual Insurance Company, fireworks were to have gone off, but I talked to officials of the fireworks company. It's too wet and rainy up there for the fireworks to be ignited and to be seen.
I understand there's a 35-mile-an-hour wind up there, that's raising the metal with a scaffold.
Yeah, a big cheer has just gone up in the crowd. The Liberty Bell has just appeared in the front entrance of Independence Hall. The Liberty Bell, made out of bronze, cast originally in England, sent to the United States.
Let me be the first. Richard Maloney, let me be the first to wish you a Happy New Year, because it is 1976.
And Happy New Year and Happy Bicentennial to you, Bill. The Liberty Bell is sheathed in plastic, ruffles and flourishes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
national anthem played by the Orange Glen High School Band from Escondido, California. It's one of the most glorious sights I've ever seen in my life. Thousands of people on Independence Mall with lighted candles under umbrellas in the driving cold rain. The Liberty Bell will be escorted. It'll take about 10 or 15 minutes, perhaps longer because of the weather, by construction crews from the J.J. White Company, which built the new Liberty Bell Pavilion. The bell is resting on a 700-pound structural steel cart with special wheels. The crew from the White Company are dressed in blue coveralls with American flags on either shoulder and white hard hats. I told you before that the entire bell was sheathed in plastic. That's not correct. The metal part of the bell is open to the elements. However, the oak yoke, Y-O-K-E, on which the bell hangs or originally hung in Independence Hall is sheathed in plastic to protect the wood. It is the original wood from England, from 1732, when the bell was originally cast. This yoke will remain with the bell when it is rehung in the new pavilion. Right now, the bell is being brought down very gently, very slowly, on a specially made wooden ramp in the front door of Independence Hall. A crew of about 10 men lowering it down by ropes down this ramp. They will then push it manually. It's not motorized in any way. Manually across Chestnut Street, which is the main thoroughfare in Philadelphia, which has been blocked off for the occasion, along with police barricades. The U.S. 3rd Infantry, the so-called Old Guard, which dates back to George Washington's days. They are the oldest Army organization in existence. They provided lifeguards, security for George Washington. They are dressed in their colonial uniforms, 19 men with muskets with fixed bayonets. They're in their colonial uniforms with the tricorn hats, the blue waistcoats and red pants, the white powdered wigs. I imagine the powder is pretty well gone from them if they have any powder in them at all. They are standing in attention in front of the bell, in front of Independence Hall, as the bell is just coming down to the bottom of the ramp. The color guard will surround the bell, and as it moves toward the new pavilion, will be followed by the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. Both of these units from Fort Myers, Virginia, part of the Washington Military Command. They're coming now right in front of Independence Hall, past the statue of George Washington, which is the only statue in front of Independence Hall, approaching Chestnut Street. Chestnut Street in this area has recently been transformed into a new transit way, so-called. Pedestrian mall, with the exception of buses. There is a lane being kept open by Philadelphia police dressed in orange slickers in this driving rain. The weather here is absolutely awful. People standing, stomping their feet, trying to keep warm. They've come out for this occasion. They had 3,000 seats, which were sold for this at $1 a head. All 3,000 seats were sold in a half hour last Friday. It shows the interest here in the Delaware Valley in the Liberty Bell. This is the first time the Liberty Bell has been taken out of Independence Hall since 1919, when it was brought out for a short ceremony to honor members of Pennsylvania 28th Division coming back from what they call the Great War. The lights on Independence Mall have been turned back on. Some people still keeping their candles going. They're cheering the Liberty Bell. Probably the most cherished relic in the United States. Bill, we've had a glorious ceremony so far. You were only about 75 yards away from me, but it's amazing how quickly joy passes. The Liberty Bell has been used in the same sentences with Independence Hall for years.
The bell is approaching the pavilion. But let's go back to the station for a moment. From Independence Mall, this is Bill Branson.